the upcoming conjunction of Jupiter with Rahu, called the Guru Chandal Yoga, that everybody's scaring us about. Is it something to really be scared about? Let's take a look at that and see the impact of that on all of us. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste. Aham Brahmasmi. On April 21st, Jupiter will transit from its current zodiac sign of Pisces into Aries. So Jupiter owns Pisces, so it's been rather comfortable there. Now it's currently as we speak, it's in the state of Gandant, which means it's transiting from a water sign into a fire sign, which is Aries. It hasn't made the transit. It will do that on April 21st. When any planet crosses from a water sign to a fire sign, it experiences a difficulty and it experiences a disturbed energy. So currently as we speak, Jupiter is undergoing this very troubled energy. I'm not talking about that in this video, but we're going to talk about when it finally experiences this troubled energy of the Gandant and it moves into Aries on April 21st. Guess who it's going to find over there? Well, it's a planet that it doesn't really like, and that's going to be Rahu. So then this conjunction of Jupiter with Rahu in the zodiac sign of Aries is called a Guru Chandal Yoga in Vedic astrology. Guru is Jupiter and Rahu is considered a Chandal. Chandal is not a good word, it's a negative word. And what Chandal really means, the real meaning of the word Chandal is an outcast. And Rahu is considered that. So let's see why. Now, why is this conjunction of Jupiter and Rahu considered not such a good conjunction? Because Rahu and Jupiter are signify completely opposing energies. Jupiter was considered the guru or the mentor or the advisors of the gods. So it's associated with the purity of thought, and it's also associated with spirituality and our religion or our dharma, doing things in a pure way, doing things the right way. And here's Rahu. It's associated with deceit and treachery. It always wants to do things outside the box. It has nothing to do with spirituality. It has to do with the complete materialistic way of life. It has to deal with the shortcuts. It deals with getting so obsessive about what you want that it forgets spirituality. It will get its goal. It wants to achieve its goals regardless of how it gets there. It forgets all the purity and it just goes after what it wants, forgetting how or what the impact of it is going to be to humanity. So Rahu is considered so materialistic that it forgets the purity that we need to have within us. So here's two very opposing energies of Jupiter, the purity and religion, spirituality, and here's Rahu obsessed completely with materiality, and it doesn't care what it has to do to get to what it wants to get to. And so that's why this conjunction is considered a very difficult conjunction, and it impacts all of us because it in the same way that I just mentioned, that it creates this push and pull within us. This is why it's considered difficult. So if you take a deeper look at this conjunction in Aries, now you realize Aries is owned by Mars. So Mars has something to say about it, meaning its own signification has something to say about it. Mars is a fiery, angry planet. It has a lot of passion associated with it. It also is action oriented. Mars doesn't have to think, it just takes action. So Mars is associated with just taking action without thought. So it kind of is supportive to in some way to Rahu, because Rahu is all about action, materiality, and here's Mars saying, well, I'm not going to think about it, I'm just going to take action. The other two factors that are going to be involved in this Jupiter Rahu conjunction called the Guru Chandal Yoga is that Saturn at this time is in Aquarius. So Saturn in Aquarius is going to aspect, from its third aspect, is going to aspect Aries. So now here's Saturn aspecting this whole drama between Guru or Jupiter and Rahu conjunction. So Saturn's going to put its aspect on it as well. So it has an impact on this tug of war that's going on between Jupiter and Rahu, because it gets involved in it, because it's aspecting it. So when you aspect or you look at something, you tend to have an impact on it as well. The other thing, because there's not enough things, we're going to put one more thing in it, is that when this conjunction starts on April 21st, the sun will have already moved into Aries, and it's going to be in the same nakshatra. So when Jupiter first moves into Aries, it's going to move into the nakshatra of Ashwini. Ashwini is the first nakshatra of the zodiac sign Aries. So it's the first nakshatra of all the 27 nakshatras, and Rahu is also going to be in the same nakshatra of Ashwini. And at the same time, the sun is going to be in that nakshatra as well. So there's going to be 3 entities in the nakshatra of Ashwini when the conjunction first starts, which is obviously going to be Jupiter when it first moves in there. Rahu is already there, and the sun would have moved in there on April 14th. So here's 3 very conflicting energies, 3 very headstrong planets that are in Ashwini. And this is really going to impact us at least until the sun moves out of there, until May, the middle of May. The sun will move out, at least move out of Aries, and give us some relief. But when it first moves in there, it's going to have quite a bit of impact. There's one little monkey wrench that I forgot to mention, that there is a solar eclipse before Jupiter moves into Aries. So we're not gonna talk about the solar eclipse, otherwise this video is just gonna get too long. So today we're just gonna talk about the impact of this Jupiter-Rahu conjunction, and when it first moves in, like I said, the sun will be involved as well. So let's take a look at how this involves us, and is it really as harmful or as detrimental to us as everybody and all the astrologers are really scaring us. We're going to take a realistic look at it and see how it impacts us, and is it really that scary. So the first thing we're going to look at is the significations of all these planets that are so involved in this Guru Chandal Yoga, or the conjunction of Jupiter and Rahu. Like I already told you, Jupiter, represents purity of thought, spirituality, and all those nice things that, the things that we do for humanity, because we care about humanity. We care to do the right thing always. And here's Rahu being materialistic, getting obsessive, and all about treachery and deceit, and saying, you don't need to be spiritual. We can all be materialistic, and let's not care about how we get what we want to get from a material standpoint. So that's that conjunction already happening. Now, since the sun is involved, I said, the sun represents our ego. It represents our soul happiness. And so this tussle that happens is going to be within our ego, within our souls. We're at this time, during this conjunction period, we're going to be conflicted within ourselves. So this conflict actually relates to our inner being, our soul, where all of us may feel this tug of war within ourselves. And the reason that when Saturn gets involved, Saturn rules most of our careers. Saturn is the karma lord. It keeps track of all our karma. So the struggle starts because we're struggling with our own karma. A lot of us may be struggling in our professions, and where we want to achieve in our professions, where we want to be as far as our career and profession is concerned. And that's where the struggle is going to be, where we want to achieve somewhere, we want to get somewhere in our career, in our professions. And Rahu is telling us, just do whatever it takes to get there. You don't have to care about other people and their feelings and what's right and what's wrong. And here's Jupiter saying, you can't do that. That's just not the right way to do things. And so that's why this Guru Chandal Yoga is not a good place to be in, or it's detrimental to us, or it's harmful for our thought processes, because it depends on who wins within us. So a lot of people, Rahu always wins the war, okay? Or Rahu always wins the battle. So a lot of us may fall prey to Rahu's energy, and we may start to make choices that aren't good for us, or we start to make choices that are not right for us. And that's the real reason we say, the Guru Chandal Yoga is never good, because a lot of us may make the wrong choices. Rahu is very encouraging of making wrong choices, things that are not good for, or good for not only humanity, but good for our souls. In the end, we always feel that, I shouldn't have done that. So this is just the real gist of the Guru Chandal Yoga, where with the aspect of Saturn, where we feel we really need to get somewhere, we really want it, and we'll do anything to get it. We don't care about integrity, we don't care about honesty, we don't care about ethics, and we're going to go after it. But this is what I'm going to warn everybody about, is if you don't fall for that, if you don't let this Rahu, negative energy of Rahu, overtake you in your quest for material things, in your quest for basically your career, profession, and even other material things, wealth, finance, then you've conquered this Guru Chandal Yoga negativity, because that's all it is. So it's really not as scary. Horrible things aren't going to happen in each person's life. It's bad for the universe, it's bad for the world at large, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But as far as individuals are concerned, this is the only thing that you need to conquer within yourself, is just make sure you make the right decisions. Always do what's correct, and what's keeping the purity of your heart. Don't let this Rahu negative energy overtake you where you make wrong decisions because you get so obsessed about your desires, your material desires, and it gets so obsessed with your goal achievements. So that's all it is. It's nothing to be scared about. Nothing terrible is going to happen. I do have predictions in the later part for all the ascendants, and I have given some guidance on what each ascendant can do. The other thing that it really does impact us, it causes some stress in our mind, and the stress in our minds is because of this, because we get conflicted in what we need to do. The last aspect is because it's in the zodiac sign of Aries, and Aries, like I said, is ruled with Mars, and Aries is also the zodiac sign of new beginnings, new initiatives. So a lot of us are struggling to take new initiatives, start new things in our life. So make sure that whatever it is that you start with the purity of heart. Make sure you start things that are good, right, the right thing. So always do the right thing. Don't start things that you haven't thought through correctly. And that's all it is that you need to take care of in this dreaded Guru Chandal Yoga. Don't fall for all the scary stuff that's going on. Now, I did neglect to mention how long this conjunction would last. So Jupiter moves into Aries in April, and it's going to stay in Aries for a while. But before it leaves Aries, Rahu will move out of Aries and go into Pisces, so they exchange signs. So in sometime late October. So this transit of Guru Chandal or the Guru Chandal Yoga will be at least for a good 6 months. So April through the end of October. Now, what are some of the things that you can do to make sure this energy doesn't really impact you from a stressful perspective? Now, there's some things that you can do, which is manage the energy within your home. And I've always believed that keeping a very decluttered home always impacts you in a great way. Now, Jupiter represents the northeast part of your home, and Rahu represents the southwest part of your home. So make sure your home is very, very clean, particularly these northeast and southwest zones of your home. Make sure they're kept very clean, especially the southwest, which is ruled by Mr. Rahu. So Rahu loves to have energy in storage areas, in cluttered areas. It likes that negative energy. It gives out this negative energy when it sees, like storage areas, closets, things that are, messed up. And so make sure that in your southwest area, things are not all cluttered up and things are thrown or stored. Sometimes we tend to just put storage boxes or whatever. Make sure you don't have that. Especially also, Rahu represents your closets, your wardrobes, or I think they're called cupboards in some countries. We call them closets. So make sure that you clean out your closets, your cupboards, and don't keep them too messy, because Rahu does tend to give out negative energy if your closets are very cluttered. So that's one thing. These Vastu tips are very powerful. I always practice them, so I can see the difference when I do certain things. And also, one of the things that Rahu negative energy comes from is unused, broken electronic items. So they could be all electronics, like your phones, laptops, tablets, things that are not working or that you don't use anymore because there's a problem with them. They're broken, and sometimes we just leave them, and say, "Oh, we don't feel like throwing them. So this is a very bad idea, and I think that they should be discarded immediately. Throw them out of the house. Don't put them somewhere else in the house. Just throw them out of the house, because they emanate very negative Rahu energy. So this, when during Guru Chandal Yoga, it's not a good idea to have these at home. So make sure you discard them. Also, a lot of wires, where there's charging wires or just electronic wires, people tend to have a lot of them, because they come with these electronic items, and then pretty soon we have a box or tons of them everywhere in the house. So if they're not being used, or they're not usable, or they belong to an old item, please just trash them, because they definitely signify a lot of Rahu energy, negative Rahu energy. They could be there for years and years, and they don't disturb you, but the minute somebody in the home has a Rahu dasha or antardasha, it starts to bother them greatly. So you shouldn't even keep them ever. So at least during the Guru Chandal Yoga, make sure you get rid of them. And the other thing you do is you increase the Jupiter energy in your home, within yourselves as well. And how do you do that? Well, you obviously become very spiritual. You try to become as spiritual as possible, doing saying your prayers, mantras, whatever faith that you believe in is a very good idea. Meditation is an excellent idea. And sometimes just if you're not a religious person, then sometimes playing happy, soulful, not sad music in the house is also, conducive to very positive Jupiter energy. So you can certainly do that. And above all, please make sure your house is clean at all times, because unclean houses is where the Rahu energy just loves to be. So make sure keep the lights on, let the energy come into your house. Jupiter is the light and the energy, and it signifies this beautiful air, the surroundings that I'm sitting in right now. So make sure you open your windows and doors and let the free energy flow in. So let the Jupiter energy come into your homes. So those are the tips that I'm going to give you to manage through this Guru Chandal Yoga. I know they seem simple, but they're actually very, very magical. They do create a lot of impact in our lives. And so what is the impact that we can expect on the world for this Guru Chandal Yoga? Because it is a powerful yoga. So I did some research. When was the last time we had one? It was during March to August 2016 is when we had the last Guru Chandal Yoga, and it was in the zodiac sign of Leo. Now Leo rules the sun. It's ruled by the sun. So it impacts the government leaders, or politicians, leaders. And at that time there was a lot of major events that occurred for leadership in all the different countries. So we had impeachment of 2 different leaderships, one in Brazil and then Korea, and then the U.S. saw where Donald Trump announced his presidency. Also, there was a military coup in Turkey. So this all happened during the Guru Chandal Yoga last time, and there was several different earthquakes that happened during that time as well. And there was a lot of different bombings that happened in airports and stuff like that also. So airports, air travel, so Jupiter represents air. So there was a lot of bombings that occurred during that time. So it is a volatile time. That the last time is very volatile time. You can Google it also. So it was between March and August of 2016. So the impact starts a little before, and then it kind of goes up to a little bit after. So you don't have to just stick to those months. So now, because it's in the house of Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars signifies wars and fighting. So we already have a very, very sad war that's going on. And so what I think is going to happen is that because the sun is involved, and so Jupiter, is going to impact us. So Jupiter signifies the advice that the leaders get. So I think that the leaderships of these countries, several countries, they're going to get really bad advice regarding how to handle the war, and as a result of bad advice, they're going to make some choices related to the war that may not be really good, and so there's escalation of that. And there may be other conflicts between countries as well during this Guru Chandal Yoga that are not going to be favorable for humanity in general. So there's the conflict between countries is what Aries and Mars will signify this time. So we're going to see a lot of that. There's definitely going to be some natural disasters like earthquakes and air-related disasters. The other thing that Aries signifies is it's a planting season, so it signifies crops. So I think the crop season is going to be not so good this time. The food is going to be scarce, and there's going to be a food supply situation, which is going to relate to the food prices being higher. They're already high. I don't know how much higher they can get, but in a lot of countries there's going to be food scarcity and food supplies being higher because the crops there, we're not going to have a good food crop this season or this year, so that's going to be impacted as well. So those are just some of the general predictions that I think will happen with this Guru Chandal Yoga as far as the world's concerned. And now I move on to predictions. My predictions are based on your ascendant, rising sign, Lagna, the zodiac sign that's in the first house of your birth chart. A lot of you are still listening to your sun sign, which is the magazines, newspapers based on your date of birth. That's not the right sign. I'm surprised how my predictions could even be accurate if you're listening to that. So make sure you're listening to the right section or the right zodiac sign. Also, if you like my video, please do give it a like. Also, it's very important that you share this video with everybody, all your friends and family, because there's so much scare about this Guru Chandal Yoga, and it's very important for everybody to understand it so they're not that scared or scared at all about it. For Aries. Aries, this conjunction is happening in your first house, your ascendant house. And Jupiter rules your 12th house of meditation, charity, expenses, and spiritual moksha. And it also rules the 9th house of divine good fortune, father, and teaching. Jupiter is also friends with Mars, which is the ruler of Aries. During this conjunction, you might simultaneously feel inspired, at the same time dissatisfied, and occasionally overwhelmed. Rahu has the potential to bring you success. It will give you opportunities to grow your wealth and gains from different sources, especially your job. But you need to make sure that if you get into new agreements, you need to make sure you check them with a fine-tooth comb. Try to get along with family and avoid fighting with children as well as your spouse. Aries is going to be very self-focused during this time with your physical body and also your looks. In fact, this is a time of complete transformation for you as far as looks and body is concerned. Also, this is a very positive time for your career and also from a finance perspective, because Jupiter is blessing you from its ascendant house, as well as the 9th house of luck is also getting activated. The only thing you need to make sure is you stay ethical and honest in all your dealings and ventures. You are going to experience a very strong push and pull between spirituality and materialism. Your material desires will be a lot, but you will also want to do the right things in the spiritual way. Make sure you balance this materialism with your spirituality perfectly. This conjunction in the first house is very favorable in terms of health and recovery in case you were having any health issues previously. You will be very energetic and have a very attractive aura and magnetic aura about you due to the presence of Jupiter and Rahu in your first house, and you can use it to your advantage. A wonderfully positive time for your love life. In fact, some Aries might even get married during this transit. Single Aries looking for a good love life, now is a positive time because the 5th house of love affairs is also activated by the blessings of Jupiter. This is an extremely positive time for students because all the education houses 5 and 9 are now getting activated by the energy of Jupiter. So you will receive extra blessings from Jupiter if you're in the field of education. Some Aries may want to start new ventures, new businesses, or new agreements. You can do that as long as you make sure you check all the document very carefully, make sure you check your agreements very carefully, and you've thought things through very carefully as well. It's not a very good time to start something, but the Aries people might be very tempted to do that. If you can hold off until after October, it's good. Just make sure you check everything carefully and you've thought through everything very carefully before you start anything new. For Taurus. Taurus, Jupiter rules your 11th house of gains, friends, and network. And it also rules your 8th house of banks, inheritance, sudden changes, maybe some obstacles and delays. For Taurus, this conjunction of Jupiter and Rahu will occur in the 12th house. The 12th house represents meditation, solitude, but above all, it represents very high expenses and losses. The 12th house also represents all things foreign. It could mean a foreign country, it could mean a foreign company, or working with any foreign entity. So Rahu in that 12th house means you could get wealth from some foreign connection, meaning working with a foreign country or working with a foreign company. You need to try your best to save money because the 12th house, like I said, means very high expenses. So if possible, the remedy to do that is maybe you can make some donations to a charity of your choice. Now that helps curtail the bad impact of the 12th house of high expenses. This is a time when your hard work will be greatly rewarded. There may be some business setbacks, but they will be temporary. Taurus, this is a time of great transformation because of the impact of the 12th and the 8th house together means transformation. This can come through various sources. It can either come through a foreign travel or either come through you turning to the divine or becoming very spiritual minded at this time. Your greatest blessings and good fortune will definitely come through these sources. So try to focus on the divine and also try to do as much meditation as possible. If possible, take a foreign trip or foreign travel so you can spend some time with yourself understanding what you really want in life and how you can go about it. A lot of Taurus may feel the urge to spend on high ticket items and even buy homes or relocate themselves to a foreign country or somewhere different. You need to think very carefully before you do any impulsive spending like buying a car or buying a home. You need to think this carefully because Rahu makes you do very impulsive things that you may regret later. A lot of Taurians may also try to do home renovations or spend on something to do with the home. The word of caution that I do have for Taurus is to make sure that they take very good care of their health, especially if you are traveling to a foreign country. Make sure you don't take chances with yourself as far as health is concerned and as far as your diet is concerned. Eat very healthy, maintain a very good physical regimen. Because of the 6th and the 8th and the 12th house activation at this time, the chances of you having some poor health is very high. So do everything in your control to make sure that your health is good, and you may make sure that you go for your medical checkup regularly. Also, if you do go on a foreign trip or travel during these months, you have to make sure you're not deceived, defrauded, or something like that, or scammed in another foreign country. Rahu is a scamster. So be very aware of who's coming along and trying to chat you up and offer deals. The chances of you being scammed are very high as well. 12th house Rahu gives a very disturbed sleep pattern, either not wanting to go to sleep, not wanting to wake up in the morning, or just not being able to sleep easily. And the solution to that is doing deep meditation. That should take care of it if you are experiencing that. For Gemini. Gemini may be one of those ascendants where this Guru Chandal Yoga may actually not be very bad. In fact, it might be to their benefit because this conjunction is happening in their 11th house. For Gemini, Jupiter rules their 10th house, which is the career, and it also rules their 7th house, which is the house of the marital relationships as well as business relationships. And now it's going to be in the 11th house, which is the house of gains, friendships, and older siblings. Also social networks. So this is a great transit from a wealth perspective, your reputation, favors from your social network, professional network, and your friends. And also this is actually going to be beneficial for your spouse. And your children might also go through a happy time if they're young enough to be under your care still. Rahu in the 11th house is likely to bring you good money, good returns on investments. And the fact that Jupiter is aspecting the 5th house makes you have very creative ways to manage and invest your finances. The only thing I caution is to make sure you don't get duped or scammed on investment schemes and how to manage your money. Rahu is a scamster, so there might be people that come along and give you ideas on how to manage your finance. Those are the only things you need to be very cautious of. So if you make sure, if you get guidance, it's very good guidance as regards to you managing your finance. Otherwise, you may have your own intellect that will be very good because the 5th house is getting activated. So you may have your own intelligence that plays a role that you're able to invest and manage your finances very, very carefully. And you may have very good returns at this time. The other thing, the focus that you will have is to increase your social circle, and you may actually become quite popular in your social circle, as well as be able to increase your, expand your professional network. The other thing that I'm going to warn you about is when Rahu is in the 11th house, do not share your secrets or personal information with your social network, professional network, and limit what you share on social media sites. It can get out of hand. People might use that information. People could get scammed, and a lot of people could spread rumors about you as well. So be very careful about who you're friends with and who you're hanging out with and sharing information with. The Guru Chandal Yoga in the 11th house is not favorable as far as relationship with older siblings is concerned. And this is based on your expectations that you have from them. So make sure you manage your expectations from your older siblings and don't get disappointed in them. The other thing is you're going to have expectations from your children and your marriage partner as well. Some of these expectations could be a little high and you might not even realize it. And so it's a time for you to make sure your expectations from your spouse and children are realistic, and that you don't get upset with them because they're not meeting your expectations, because I think it's the problem is with your expectations, not with their behavior or their handling the relationships. So what are some of the things that you can do if you're feeling stressed during this time? Is make sure you use your good fortune to help others that are a little more needy than you are. Also, meditation will always help because the 5th house does represent meditation, and also listening to peaceful music, uplifting music, or sacred chants is also going to be very, very helpful, because that's all the 5th house represents, and so you'll get some very good energy from that. For Cancer, this Guru Chandal Yoga conjunction is occurring in your 10th house. And for you, Jupiter rules your 9th house. And the 9th house represents good fortune, gurus, teachers, your father, and higher education. It also rules the 6th house, which is your health, your workplace, and also your daily routine. So this transit for you will be kind of a mixed bag. You might feel excessive pressure to perform at work. You'll have more responsibility and experience, but also experience some tension at work. But you are going to be able to handle this energy, because Mars, which is in Aries, which is where the conjunction is occurring in, is a yoga planet for you. So it's one of the best planets for you. So you will have the energy to perform well at work, to fulfill all your responsibilities, to handle any negative energy and turn it into positive energy, and fulfill everything, all your obligations at work. And if you do that, there's a very good chance that you could get very good rewards from it. You can even get promoted if that's what you're waiting for, if that's what's supposed to happen. And so good things can happen as a result of all this stress, pressure, and extra work that's going to be burdened on you. So that's why I said it's a mixed bag, is because on the one hand, there's a lot of pressure that's going to be put on you and you're going to feel burdened with it. But on the other hand, you're going to be well rewarded for it. And Mars is going to give you very good energy to be able to fulfill all the pressure demands and the obligations that are going to be placed on you. But I will ask you to be a little bit more patient as far as monetary rewards are concerned, because they are going to be after the end of the Chandal Yoga, which is after October or so. The other impact you might have is because the fact that the Guru Chandal Yoga aspects the 4th house, and the 4th house is the house of your home, mental peace at home, mental happiness. And so you might have trouble maintaining the work-life balance, meaning balancing the demands of work as the demands of at home. So do your best to maintain that and don't lose your cool over it. It's just a matter of time, but you will be maybe challenged with that as well. And the other thing is that I've been warning a lot of ascendants is that Rahu is a bit of a scamster, and he's a liar. He encourages deception, and he's sitting in your house of career. So don't try to take shortcuts that at work that may not work out in the end for you. So try to not cut corners, or lie at work, or deceive, or do all those kind of things. Keep your integrity very high, keep your honesty level high at work. Don't lie about things, don't fake things, don't go behind other people's back and talk about other people, negative criticism, gossip. Avoid that at all costs, because you will get caught in that, and that's going to have very negative consequences. So avoid such things at all times. So what do you do when you're stressed out during this time is stay very close to your family, trust them with your feelings, talk to them, if you are feeling stressed. And the other thing that you can do is do some kind of service to people that, need your help. If there's somebody that you can help out, give them some happiness by, being of service to them or providing them some help, it would greatly help you get over the stress that this conjunction may, impact on you. For Leo, for you, this transit will be occurring in your 9th house. And for you, Jupiter rules your 5th house. Now, the 5th house is divine intelligence, just general, your intellect, your creativity, creative ideas, also children, love life, and higher learning, education. It also rules your past life merits. For you, Jupiter also rules the 8th house of inheritance, sudden changes, some obstacles, challenges in life, delays, and the challenges that present themselves in our lives. This is a very positive transit for Jupiter, for Leos, because this is the 9th house is where Jupiter really belongs, and it owns the 9th house. The 9th house signifies your gurus, your teachers, your mentors. It signifies your karma and good luck. It also signifies your father. So you could get rewards from your work in the form of more money. It could also mean a promotion for you. And the way you do that is by activating your good luck factor. And you can become, and the way to do that is to become more spiritual. And by spiritual, I mean staying close to your divine, staying close to your father. Don't ruin your relationship with him if he's still in your life. Your gurus, teachers, and your father will bring you the happiness and your good fortune. The 9th house also signifies learning and education. Jupiter is also the significator of wisdom and education. What a positive time for higher education. So if you're in the field of education, couldn't be a better transit. But also if you're not in the field of education directly, this is also a time when you can think of new ways or learn new skill sets to better your own life. This is also a time when you can learn new things at your job to improve your position at work. So think of things that you can learn, new skill sets that you can add on to your own profile, where you can benefit from them at a later time, and they will definitely come to good use later. This transit is exceptionally positive in terms of your aura and your energy. Now's a time when you're going to feel energetic. You're also going to feel like you want to focus on yourself, where you feel positive and you want to spread the positive energy to other people. If you have anything new that you want to start, new initiatives for learning, new initiatives, creative ideas, this is an excellent time. You can do that. You'll see wonderful results for that. Also, a very, very positive time for your children and your relationship with children. The only caution I have for you in respect to your relationships with siblings, with your children and your loved ones or love life is that you make sure you have a sense of forgiveness and diplomacy when it comes to relationships like that. If you feel that they've not done something per your expectation, that you immediately forgive instead of holding on to grudges. And also that you're very diplomatic in what you're saying to them. This isn't the time to be blunt with your words, because it will ruin relationships on a permanent basis. For the single Leos that are looking for love in their life, this is a very favorable transit as well, because it does aspect the 5th house of love. So if you're looking, now's a good time to keep your eyes open. And lastly, I think some of the Leos might be taking a trip for religious or spiritual purposes or for educational purposes. So if that chance comes up, please do avail of that, because that's going to be your lucky charm. It will activate your luck factor. If you're feeling a little stressed at this time, stay very close to the divine. A good dose of spirituality, and also if you're going to start learning something new, may help alleviate the stress that this conjunction may give you at this time. So positive transit for Leos, make sure you take good use of it. For Virgo, this conjunction is occurring in your 8th house. The 8th house is a house of sudden events, and Rahu is known for sudden things. It's also the house of certain difficulties, and it's also known for obstacles, maybe a little bit of a struggle in everything that you try to do, and obstacles and delays. Now, for you, Jupiter rules your 4th house, and the 4th house relates to your home happiness, your mother, your luxury items like your vehicles and your home, and the comforts that you derive from your home and your mental happiness. Jupiter for you also rules the 7th house, which is the house of your spouse, your marriage, and your business associates. So the impact of this transit is that you're going to feel pressured and feel burdened at your job to perform. The strange impact will be that because Rahu denotes sudden changes and change of plans, and the 8th house denotes the same thing, which is suddenness, nothing will stay constant, meaning you can't make plans because they constantly change. So you could be planning for one thing and the next day it changes, then you plan for something else and then another change happens. So the next few months is not the month of status quo. It's the month of constantly changing environment at work and at home. You can't really plan for anything because something's always changing with your schedule or with your plans. So the guidance I can give you is to stay completely flexible and be prepared for all the changes, be completely adaptable to a constantly changing environment. The second pressure that this transit is going to put is going to be on finances. So you're going to feel very pressured on how to manage your finances within the household. Because the 4th house, the 2nd house is getting impacted. So there's going to be a pressure on how to manage finance, and you may feel like they're completely out of control, which they probably are, because sudden expenses keep coming up. Remember, the element of suddenness and the lack of ability to plan is going to plague these next few months. So be prepared, be very flexible. And one of the things you can do is, because your Jupiter rules your 7th house, is the support that you get from your partner is going to be critical. The guidance that you get from your partner is also going to be very critical during this time. So for Virgo, they might feel pressure to perform and experience a bigger workload, but they're going to be able to do that very well. They're going to be able to handle it really well because of the position of Mars and the fact that they're very detail-oriented people. So they're going to be able to manage through this rather well. This is also a time when Virgos feel that they are in better control of their family, and the family relationships seem to improve, not only with all family members, but also with their spouse. So even though there's pressure at work, they may feel a sense of satisfaction with the family. Personal relationships they might feel a little bit more positive about those. And one of the positive notes about this transit is if there was any Virgos that were waiting for settlement of any unearned type, which could be inheritance, it could be insurance settlements, it could be some large gifts or whatever that they were waiting for, this is the perfect time. It will happen during this time, during this transit. There's a very likely chance that that does happen now. One of the impacts of the 8th house activation is the sense of fear of just the unknown. And a lot of the Virgos may just fear something, like something's going to happen. So just be assured that nothing bad is really going to happen. It's just the innate fear that the 8th house generates in your mind. You need to relax your mind. You can do meditation. You can stay close to your divine. You can also do a lot of mantra practice to alleviate this fear, which is very baseless that you will go through. But a lot of Virgos may actually have a sense of fear, which is entirely baseless. For Libra, the Guru Chandal Yoga is occurring in your 7th house. And for you, Jupiter rules your 3rd house, and the 3rd house rules your courage. It's your communication. It's also siblings and neighbors, but it also it rules your ability and your initiative to start new things and take on new things. Jupiter also for you rules the 6th house, which is the house of health, hard work, regular routine, your workplace, and also rules any legal matters, also rules enemies or end the competition. So when the transit occurs in your seventh house, the seventh house represents relationships, particularly your marital relationships, your marriage, and also relationship with business associates. It also represents your public image and how you deal with all the people that you meet with. Guru Chandal Yoga in the seventh house is definitely not a positive transit, because Rahu in the seventh house is not a good placement, because what Rahu does, it places expectations on the partner that are completely unrealistic, and they have an obsessive tendency towards their partner, which is, like I said, very unrealistic. So they feel that the partner is just not performing up to their expectations, and it's not the partner's problem, but it's your own problem, where your expectations are clearly out of the box, unrealistic. So Libra needs to do everything under their power to make sure that they maintain this marriage and the pleasant relationship with their partner, so nothing negative occurs in the marriage. Also, all the married Libras need to keep their eyes and hands to themselves. Please stop looking outside. This is going to be very, very damaging to your relationship. The time after the Chandal Yoga has passed, after October, is so much better for your marriage. It instantly improves everything. So just get through these few months where Rahu and Jupiter are together in the seventh house. And after that, it's going to be quite a pleasant ride for the marriage. The good thing, this is a time when your health will improve if you had issues before, because Jupiter in the sixth house previously was giving some Libras health issues. So now that will improve. Also, social life seems to pick up quite a bit of momentum now. This transit is also very favorable for in terms of returns on investments, monetary gains, and wish and desire fulfillment, because the 11th house is getting activated by Jupiter. So if you can think carefully through your financial management, you can get good returns. Just make sure that you're doing this very carefully and you're not doing it rashly or without good thought. You might need to get a good advisor in order to do these financial planning, but overall, this is a good time for financial returns as well. If you're thinking of getting into a business or becoming partners with somebody in a business deal, then you should be very cautious about that. Make sure you know them well before committing. Double check the credentials of all new business associates, because Rahu, the Mr. Scamster, is in the seventh house, so it's very easy for somebody to deceive you, scam you. So be extra cautious about that. In general, this is a good transit for Libras if they can overcome the issue with the marital partner, because this is a good time for them personally. They will have a good personality, they will have good energy, good aura. They'll get along with people at work, they will get along especially good with their siblings and in their friend network. So as long as they can manage their marriage really well, this transit can actually mean really, really good things for them, not only from a relationship point with others, but also from a gains and a financial point as well. For Scorpio, this transit is happening in your sixth house. And for you, Jupiter rules the second house, which represents finances, family, food, communication, and also the fifth house, which represents children, education, love affairs, creativity, and your basic intelligence. The sixth house represents hard work, your workplace, debts, loans, health, competition, enemies, legal battles, if any. One of the main significations when Rahu transits in the sixth house is that it never loses a battle. So you never lose to the competition, you always win. The other negative or the challenging part of the transit is that Rahu tends to disturb relationships that are significant of the sixth house, which is your co-workers and your workplace. So make sure that you maintain a very positive work environment at work, and maintain your positivity in relationships. Try to get along as much as possible with co-workers. If you're able to do that and get along well and maintain good relationships, professional relationships, there should be a good chance of getting a promotion or being recognized or seeing good things in your career after October. Some Scorpios will also want to change their jobs or have been thinking about changing their jobs. So this transit of the Guru Chandal Yoga in the sixth house may actually bring about a change of job. But my guidance to you is to think very carefully before you impulsively change your workplace or your job, because sometimes Rahu is deceptive in what seems like a good idea may not actually be a good idea. So think carefully before you make any changes in your job or your career profession. The Guru Chandal Yoga in the sixth house also may give you some health challenges, but because Rahu is also there, you're going to recover from them rather well. So make sure that if you do have something health related, get it checked out, and make sure you recover from it by taking medical advice in a timely manner. Also be aware that it might be an excessively expensive time where you might be prone to impulsive or excessive spending. So if this is not something you want to do, you might want to control your spending habits. Although the expenses are high because the 12th house is getting activated, the second house of income is also getting activated. So even though the expenses are out of control, high, income is good as well. So it kind of supports the expense, I guess. So this is a time where money comes in, but money goes out as well. So I guess if that's what you want, that's fine. But it's a good financially, but it's also expensive financially. A positive time for family relationships. So make sure you spend enough time with extended family members. It's a positive time for that as well. The only challenge is in maintaining positive relationship with your marital partner. Excellent transit as far as a relationship with children is concerned. The children may do really, really well. And also, if you're looking for love, you're single, then this is a wonderful time for you to find that person. Just be very careful who they are, because like I said, Rahu is a bit of a scamster and master of deception. So you need to be careful who you get into relationships with. This is a time when Scorpio is going to be a little more focused on themselves and less on others. So my guidance to Scorpio is to make sure you focus on the relationships of your life and the other people in your life, as opposed to how you can make more money, how you can advance in your career. Don't be so self-absorbed that you forget the other people in your life. For Sagittarius, this transit or the Guru Chandal Yoga is occurring in your fifth house, and Jupiter rules your first house. It's your ascendant lord, which means it rules yourself, your physical body, your life path, and your thinking. And also it rules your fourth house. And the fourth house represents your home, your domestic bliss, your mental happiness. It also rules your mother. It also rules real estate for you and luxuries of life like your vehicles and home. So the transit or the Chandal Yoga in the fifth house is going to be positive for you, because the fifth house represents children. It represents your love life. It also represents education, the divine intelligence. It also represents creativity and the things that we want to do in our life for fun. And so now this transit of Jupiter in the fifth house gives you the divine blessings for positivity, wealth, love, and intuition. The fifth house represents our thinking pattern, the creative ways that we think of things to do. So now you're going to be bursting with new ideas on how you can improve your relationships, on how you can do better in your career, and moreover, how you can improve your financial situation, because the fifth house does aspect the 11th house of gains and material desires and wish fulfillment. So you're going to come up with very good ideas on how you can improve your life as a whole, especially related to material gains and wish fulfillment. The fifth house represents love relationships. So if you're single and you're looking for love, you'll be very creative on how you can find somebody that's maybe perfect for you. Now, I do have a bit of a caution for you, because Rahu in the fifth house, if you're looking for somebody new, you need to be very cautious about who you get, in a relationship with, because Rahu does have a deceptive quality about it. So make sure that you're not being deceived or fooled by how you perceive a person to be versus how they really are. For those people that are engaged in the field of education or for students, this is an exceptionally good time because the fifth house represents education and the aspect is on the ninth house, which represents higher education. So this is an exceptional time for you. You will be quite successful. Your education will receive a boost. Just remember to stay very ethical and work with complete honesty in order to receive this favorable impact of Jupiter. This transit will bring in you a lot of desire to be with friends, grow your social circle, also grow your professional network, be seen with friends, and enjoy a time with friends. At the same time, you're going to feel or get attracted towards having some sort of a spiritual experience or spiritual life. So there's going to be both desires in you, which is one for the material life, which is enjoying money, enjoying a good time with friends, and so living a very material life. But also you're going to feel the pull of the spirituality as well, because both the houses are getting activated, which is the 11th, which is material desires, and the ninth house, which is the spiritual growth of our soul. So you're going to feel the push or the pull of both these energies during this time. Overall, you're going to feel a much better sense of happiness because you're going to feel like you're getting more support and appreciation from all quarters, including at home and at work. For Capricorn, this Guru Chandal Yoga transit is happening in your 4th house. And for you, Jupiter rules your 12th house, which signifies long distance travels, high expenses, losses, and also spirituality. Also, Jupiter does also represent the 3rd house for you, which is the house of siblings, neighbors, communication, your courage, your determination, and your willingness to do new things. The Guru Chandal Yoga in the 4th house is going to give you a little bit of mental stress and give you a feeling that your peace is being disrupted. The 4th house represents your home environment. So you're going to feel like nothing is going well in your home and there's a constant state of chaos, which may be for completely no reason, but you may just sense it in your mind. Also, the 4th house does represent your mother, so you need to take very good care of your mother's health. Due to the aspect on the 12th house and the 4th house being where the Chandal Yoga is, a lot of Capricorns may have real estate transactions that occur during this transit. But make sure that before you're buying any real estate or having a real estate transaction, you check it out and make sure that it's suitable for you and that everything is okay with the deal. Make sure you check out all the paperwork very, very carefully, and everything is done accurately. Anything done during a Guru Chandal Yoga, like a major paperwork, especially for Capricorn, because the 3rd house of documentation is also, Jupiter rules that. Make sure you check everything out because the 8th house also is impacted. Now, this is a time when you'll be very obsessed with your career or growth in your career. In fact, there may be changes in your career, something sudden that happens, and now you want to change your job or change your career. In fact, a lot of the Capricorns may relocate as a result of changes in their career. So if that does happen, my caution is still the same as I'm giving to a lot of other ascendants. Make sure you check out everything before you just jump on the first opportunity, because the Guru Chandal Yoga does tend to give impulsive behavior, impulsive decision making. So just make sure everything is good and it's not, it doesn't just look or seem good, and you've done thorough checking before you accept any offers or change your job. The house of expenses, which is the 12th house, is also getting very activated. So this might be a very expensive time for you. Like I said, there could be real estate transactions. Also, there could be sudden expenses or unplanned expenses that come out of nowhere that you weren't planning for. Remember that 8th house is being activated at this time also. So try to control your expenses as much as possible. Most of these expenses could be home related, like a lot of Capricorn, if they're not relocating, could be spending money on either redecorating or buying things for the home or renovating their house, or things related to the house. And these sudden unplanned expenses could also be related to things that happen within the home, things going bad and then you have to replace them. So they're all home related items primarily. Some Capricorns might actually also buy a car during this transit. Some Capricorns might go on a foreign trip because the 12th house does indicate foreign travels as well. So the guidance is that if you're getting too stressed during the Guru Chandal Yoga, meditation will work wonders. And if you're lucky enough to have your mother still be part of your life, then do share a very positive relationship with her, because the 4th house does indicate your relationship with your mother. For Aquarius, the Guru Chandal Yoga for you is occurring in your 3rd house. And for you, Jupiter is your money planet because it rules the 11th house of gains and friends and the 2nd house of finance and family. So the Guru Chandal Yoga is in the 3rd house, and the 3rd house represents communication, your courage and your effort, your determination to do new things. It also represents siblings and your neighbors. The 3rd house also represents short travels and social media. This transit for you will be a mixed bag. Aquarius will be completely focused on their finances. Not only will they constantly obsess about how they can make more money, but they will also be very willing to work hard for it. They will have a lot of new ideas and take new initiatives to try new things to improve their financial situation. They will not be afraid to change their jobs or to start new businesses or to start new ventures. They will stop at nothing. Jupiter rules both their money houses, and Rahu is a planet that magnifies or multiplies the impact of the planet that it gets associated with. So Jupiter's representation of finance is going to get multiplied or magnified manyfold by the impact of its Rahu conjunction. So Aquarius will have lots of courage because the 3rd house represents courage and initiatives to do whatever it takes to make more money and become financially stronger. Those Aquarius that have work that involves short travels, or those that are involved in work related to social media, will do exceptionally well financially. My guidance to Aquarius is to make sure that what they put out on social media or any kind of communication they do on social media platforms, they need to be very, very cautious of what they're saying, because Rahu is in the 3rd house, and so things can get blown out of proportion. Things can take an ugly turn if they're saying something that's controversial. So stay out of controversy on social media or what you say publicly. The other thing Aquarius needs to be very cautious about is their communication, written as well as verbal. To make sure they're very accurate, very thorough, they do their homework, and they check every documentation very thoroughly before they sign any paperwork. The 3rd house does represent your siblings, so Aquarius needs to make sure they get along with their siblings and don't get into any relationship with issues with them at this time. The 3rd house rules the IT world and on all your electronics. So people, Aquarians that are in the IT world will do exceptionally well, and a lot of the Aquarians might have trouble with their electronics during this time. They may break, they may get lost, so make sure you take good care of them. And at this time, it's possible to have cyber issues going on, cyber security issues going on as well, because of the 3rd house Rahu. So make sure that you protect your data, you don't compromise your information, and you keep an eye on stuff like that, because Rahu in the 3rd house can give cyber security type of issues where your information is compromised. So be very aware of that at this time. Relationship with your marriage partner improves tremendously compared to what it has been in the last year when Jupiter was in Pisces, and also because the 9th house is activated, which is the house of divine blessings and good luck, is also activated. So luck is on your side. You put in the hard work, your hard work will be rewarded. This is a good time to grow your finances, but at the same time, make sure you're ethical, make sure you're very honest, because Rahu does tend to give some not so ethical ideas in your head, so make sure you push them out of there and stay ethical, honest, and your finances should do a lot better. Your hard work will pay off. For Pisces, the Guru Chandal Yoga is occurring in your second house. Jupiter for you is your ascendant, so it rules your first house of self, the physical body, outlook, and life. And it also rules the 10th house of your career and your position and status in society. The second house represents our family. It represents the food that we eat. It also represents finance, and it also represents our speech, what we say to people. So the Guru Chandal Yoga from the second house will increase your finance. It's going to boost your finance as well as boost your business if you're a business owner. It's also very favorable in terms of career because Jupiter does rule your 10th house of career. So it's going to make you very career focused. It's going to make you very focused on achievement of a position in your company or getting promoted. And so you're going to do a lot of hard work, or you're trying to do a lot of hard work to get whatever you want to achieve, whether it's in your business or whether it's in your career. So the only guidance I have is to make sure you're still ethical, you don't do anything wrong, or you stay pure when you're trying to achieve your goals. Do that. There's going to be a side effect of Jupiter-Rahu conjunction in the second house because the second house does rule your family. So you may have your speech with your family may be challenged a little bit. You may say things that are not very nice to your family members. You need to be very careful of what you're saying to them, and are you hurting their feelings or not. You may think that, okay, this is the right thing to say to them, but it's obviously going to hurt people. So you need to be very careful. Now remember that Saturn is in your 12th house. It's increasing the expenses. So you're going to work very hard to improve your financial situation, so your income may go up, but don't be disappointed if your expenses continue to stay up. So there's going to be the juggling of income and expenses. And the good thing is that if you're waiting for any settlement of any unearned income like insurance or inheritance or stuff like that, now's a perfect time and you'll get it. So that's a positive thing. The other warning or guidance that I have is for people that your co-workers. You need to be very cautious about how you communicate with them. You could burn your bridges if it's really not positive communication with them. And also the food that you eat. Rahu in the second house gives uncontrollable appetite and also eating the wrong kind of foods. So watch what you eat because it may give you some digestive issues as well. So take good care of your health. My best guidance to Pisces as far as mental stress is concerned is try to control the obsession with finance and money because that's going to give you mental stress. Try to bring some spirituality in your life. It could be mantra practice, it could be meditation, it could also mean staying very close to the divine. Whatever it is that you do to bring yourself close to the divine will help with the mental stress that you feel when you feel tension within family or when you feel the stress related to finance. That will help out greatly. With this, I come to the end of my video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a wonderful transit. Take good care of yourselves. Stay safe. And I'll see you in my next video.